Radiation's unrad to the max.
It's a real doggy. You found the location of Alistair's cooler. You might be just in time. The SOB have mounted an all-out attack on the New Skeleton Army headquarters. We're not sure how they found the information, but given that they've been specifically targeting the coolers, it was just a matter of time. Guess there's no time to beat around the bush anymore. The New Skeleton Army had been hiding in a previously undisclosed cooler, CA5. What's worse, now that it's been discovered, raider gangs from all over have begun fighting their way in, trying to get at the booze. This complicates things, to say the least. Well, you see, the New Skeleton Army is something of a conglomerate of other raiding parties. Once a waster agrees to help the Skelly Claws, they return to their respective gangs, secretly spying on them and collecting any information that might help us free the waste from the SOB. Nobody but the highest Skelly officials know the identities of our members, which means that our guys don't even know who they're working with. Now that all hell's broken loose at HQ, nobody knows who's who. We've got Skellies killing other Skellies without even knowing it. All the while, SOB is slowly making their way to the head Skelly. It's not, considering the head Skelly's the only one who knows how to get Alistair's cooler open. Without getting into Alistair's cooler, there's no way of getting the mulligan. And without the mulligan, we can kiss our chances of freeing the Western Waste from the SOB goodbye. Quick, get to cooler CA5 and head to the head Skelly before the SOB do. We don't have much time.
That's right, Jim Atomic here. Ain't remember if I said this already, but can't rightly tell if anyone's even listening to this anymore. And old Jim a holler. Right then, ain't been much for quitting anyways. Now, where's that booze?
Eyes on top. Enemy down.
Ride me, waster!
Here! 죽었어. 너 죽었어.
The paint train!
Time to turn you to.
I love ¡Mátalo!
Welcome to the...
여기 있어.
Está aquí.
It's a fine day. It's a fine day today. claws. Threat neutralized. It's a fine day to die. Target acquired.
This might sting a bit.
Enemy spotted.
Waster, so glad you could make it. Isn't it wonderful? Waster, blasting Waster. It's survival of the fittest kicked into ultramatic hyperdrive. The wheat cutting through the chaff in an endless volley of gunfire. Mankind screaming towards something greater, with countless permutations of the Ubermensch facing off in a thunderdome of superhuman progress. Booze is the new world order, and once the SOB scum has been smeared off the face of the earth with the help of the Mulligan, mankind will be free to unleash its true potential. So, where is it, Waster? Where is Alistair's cooler? Yes! How could I have missed such an obvious detail? Alistair did so much enjoy visiting his retreat up in Berkeley. I should have known he would have built his cooler there. Yes, I knew him. Some might say we were friends. Others would call us rivals. How furious he must have been to have learned his cool air evacuation colonies would be saving the life of the man who single-handedly ruined him. After all, the Cool Air Project was devised to preserve the greatest minds of our time. And who could deny Sid Johns a place on the pantheon of engineering gods? Yes, the inventor of the Concorde PC and the father of modern computing. Innovatrix Business Solutions was set to change the world, to save it from the technological sinkhole that Alistair and his so-called research labs had played such a big part in creating. To think, Alistair's final contribution to the world of computing was a monochrome text terminal. Pathetic. It's no wonder the Cool Air colonies failed as hard as they did. Yes, why indeed would an archaic system running on prehistoric tech, devised by a half-wit fossil, fail to perform its duty? Truly, it was Alistair tech at its best. Every single cooler a different defect. To malfunction in such a myriad number of ways, truly a testament to Alistair's technical prowess. Electronic failures, faulty seals, coolant leaks. I bet not even Alistair himself was spared from his own ineptitude. In the case of cooler CA5, the very one in which we stand, the cooler mates and I had the pleasure of dealing with a faulty cryogenics system. You see, the moment we detected the enemy's nuclear strikes, the members of the Cool Air program sealed themselves in their respective coolers, expecting a relaxing ice nap until all that nasty radioactive fallout had died down. Not us. When CA5's cryogenic systems failed, what was supposed to be a quiet, decade-long slumber had become years of agonizing isolation and deprivation. Well, we weren't stupid. We tried rationing. We tried cutting as many corners as our bodies could withstand. But the supplies in the coolers weren't meant to last for months, let alone years. As clean water began running out, we were forced to drink the radioactive sludge that was slowly accumulating in the cooler's sewage pipes. Then, of course, went the food. The weakest of us wasted away from hunger, while the rest of us resorted to other means. But it was the sludge that did it, the booze that changed me, granted me the mutational advantages I needed to overpower the remaining cooler mates. Survival of the fittest. When the day finally came that the cooler doors reopened for the first time in years, I stood there, all alone, the last man standing, belly filled with the bones of my enemies. The apex predator of the food chain I had viciously consumed my way to the top of. Because he had something to prove, Waster. The Mulligan was Alistair's one shot at redemption, his one shot at showing the American public that he was not just a relic of the Cold War. You strip a man of his accolades, his money, his pride, and force him to claw his way out of the depths of his own depravity. And it's astounding what he can accomplish. Trust me, Waster, I'd know. No, Waster, this is the New World Order. This is how we lose the trappings of our human weakness. This is how we become the Ubermensch. This is why we must defeat the SOB. This is the reason the new skeleton army must succeed. We must leave behind those too stubborn to adapt to the new normal. We must usher in a new era of humanity. The Mulligan will let us start anew.
Step away from the escape pod, Waster. There's no need for this to escalate to violence, Waster.
Quickly, Waster. Take this secure disk. It's been hacked to grant administrative privileges to all cooler systems. Activate the Serpent Protocol. It's the only way we'll escape here alive.
No, Waster. What are you doing?
You made the right choice, Waster.
Greetings, Administrator. I am the cool air speakeasy personal assistant. Dangerous levels of surface-level nuclear radiation have been detected, beginning the cryogenics process. Please step into the cool air cryogenic pod for best results. Serious bodily injury and/or death may occur if proper procedures are not followed. Please remain calm.
So the story goes that the waster came, they saw, they had too much to drink, and then disappeared forever, which is totally normal as far as wasters go. Totally forgettable. Seriously, who cares? But their house became something of a wasteland legend, a kernel in the turd, a total jewel of the West. Like, even long after the waster went missing, people kept stumbling upon the safe haven, this fortified mega hut filled with a bunch of totally tubular trash from the old world. So, kinda embarrassing, the waster had filled the home with a bunch of creepy mannequins. Some of them dressed, others not. Some of them were only wearing shirts, at least that's what I heard. As the wasters continued living their boozed-up lifestyles, their humanity slowly slipping away, they looked to these mannequins as a reminder of the bodies they'd long since left behind. Tucked away in a ramshackle garage behind the house, the waster had set up a workshop filled with piles of trash and roboguts. Though the compandroids that the waster had been so fond of were programmed to kill, it was not long until the wasters were able to modify the robots, teaching them to not kill and then to help. From these tinkerings came a new era of technological revolution, and a strange feeling came over the wasters that maybe the strongest muscle in their body was much, much higher than they had originally thought. Wait, the brain is a muscle, right? The house had gone from a small hut to a small community of wasters to a bustling hub of culture and civilization. All the while, the wasters stuck tiny, annoying pictures on the walls to chronicle its evolution. Historians would later look back on these photos and think, how annoying. It was no surprise that the house would become the birthplace of a new nation. After all, the word important was stamped all over it. As for the bees, the remaining bees spent their days desperately fighting their own extinction. With the bees out of the picture, the mutants that had grown rampant in the hive slowly made their way back to their home at Goner Park, where they were met with open arms by the dinner party. The dinner party totally lived up to their name. Without a leader, the junk dogs slowly fell apart. The technology they had hoarded for themselves was fought over by the remnants of the junk dogs and the new blockbuster vidiots. Much of it was lost in the fighting, but what little survived was dismantled and reduced to scrap. All the while, it's said that the head Skelly continued to operate from behind the shadows. Though nobody has seen him since the SOB raid years ago, there are those who attribute every political shift in the Western Waste to his devious puppet mastering. Oh yeah, somebody named Pinky said Mexico's not doing so great. Whatever. Anyways, in some stupid way, perhaps it was this waster's decision that had led the Western Waste down this wobbly, drunken path. Hard to believe that from the depths of a grody wooden shack sprang forth the foundations of a new world. One almost exactly like the one before the old New World, with things like laws, order, politics, the nuclear arms race, the Cold War, the SALT talks. You know, exactly the same as the moment right before the bombs fell the first time. Well, I mean, besides the obsession with cardboard discs and unusually loose pants. But like, oh well, who cares? I'm not worried. After all, my name's Vulture Val, and I own the biggest mall in New Oni. Come visit when you have a chance. You won't what is that?
Cryosleep has now concluded. Welcome to the year 1990. Have a nice day.